ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to DRC Digital Racing Championship F1 2022 Tier 1 Round 6. Season 6, Round 2 at Saudi Arabia. I am your commentator, Deathlink10, and do apologise for the late start of the stream. I was just making sure I wasn't going to die from a cold. But anyway, we're here, and I'm also joined by, once again, the lovely Panda. Panda, how you doing?
I am doing great, thanks.
Panda is there. Good. He was just changing.
I am indeed. I'm indeed here. Doing great. This is a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Because we didn't think I would be here this week. We thought I would be here in Tier 2, but now I'm here with you, definitely.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I can't wait. Saudi, very fast and tight circuit, as we all know. And it's going to be amazing to see what these drivers can do. Of course, definitely, we saw that massive performance from the McLaren drivers last race. And Scraffy isn't here, crucially enough.
Scraffy's not here.
We saw how fast the other McLaren was. So, what are you expecting for the McLarens? What are you expecting for a win today here, definitely?
Well, Callis is in again, so Callis reserving for Scraffy, and Kimmerai is also back doing his first race for the new McLaren team. So it'll be interesting to see what his pace is like. Obviously, we had Edgen racing once again, and we know how fast he is around pretty much any circuit at any point. But yeah, no, it's going to be a very interesting race indeed. 19 drivers for today's race, so we are almost at a full capacity grid. I don't know if we're just waiting on a full capacity or if we're going to be heading off shortly. But yeah, Saudi Arabia. I don't have a track map available because I didn't set one up. But it's a very fast-flowing circuit, as Panda was saying. It's genuinely one of my favourite tracks to drive in the game. Always tends to be a bit of carnage and a bit of overtaking. And 25 laps could be a bit insane. Maybe some... wouldn't it be funny if we had a wet Jeddah? Wouldn't that be funny, Panda?
It's not gonna... I don't think it's gonna happen, but I have seen leagues that had a wet Bahrain. So, honestly, I'm not taking it out of the equation. But no, definitely, I mean, it is honestly, as I said, it can be quite a bit of chaos at Jeddah. But, of course, these are some of the best drivers that, in some of the best leagues. So, honestly, I think we won't see as many crashes, but I do think, definitely, that qualifying is going to be very interesting. Of course, short quali, 18 minutes, and these drivers need to get their laps in, and of course, we've seen in real life, Max Verstappen 2021, if you put too much out there, you will crash, and it will, end your lap. So I think these drivers are going to be very hesitant in qualifying, but they have to also be able to really push the limits.
Yeah, the circuit does tend to bite you back if you push it too hard. But we'll find out in a few minutes if we're going to be... Well, I assume we're going to be getting underway in a few minutes' time.
We should hopefully be.
Yeah, I believe, speaking on Panda being here again, so I think from next week on Panda we'll be back in Tier 2, as far as I'm aware, I've been told. And I think it'll be Mackie coming back into Tier 1. I don't know, I'm not sure. It's all a bit of a mess trying to sort things out. But, we are now here and Panda is also here. And we are actually getting underway as we're lumping into the lobby. And hopefully we won't have a mass disconnect like we had last week, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone can remember, but I mean, even myself as a commentator, constantly disconnected. So yeah, hopefully we won't have the mass disconnect. Hopefully we won't have connecting problems tonight. Yeah, I haven't released any patches, but we're still going to be hoping that somehow it magically works.
Hoping and praying, as people tend to do when they play EA games. But as the session gets underway, someone's already loaded in apparently according to Edgen, but there we go. We're into Saudi Arabia, short qualifying. As Panda was saying, 18 minutes to set your lap time. And traffic can also be a big factor around here, can't it, Panda?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you look at it definitely, and theoretically it is a long circuit. But the problem is, you get circuits where they're long, but they have a lot of corners, which do waste time off the lap, if that makes sense. Whereas this track is a fast track, you don't really have a lot of time to back off, if that makes sense. Meaning that, in a lot of league races, in a lot of races, we do see drivers, piling up at that last corner, and it being a danger for some of the back drivers because, you have to get yourself through all the traffic. Talking about mass disconnects, I think we might have jinxed it. Let's see what they do to... Yeah, we'll either restart Let's have a look. Will they restart, or is everyone just gonna rejoin? I'm
Well,
not
I would
quite
like to say
sure.
everyone could rejoin, but it will ruin some people's chances of a lap time.
Good point.
But no, Edge and everyone is leaving the session, which means we are going already to our first technical restart. Um, so once again, do apologise everyone, but there is quite the EA issues at the moment. As we mentioned last week, EA recently put a patch in, which basically means if you don't join in time in the session, you will get disconnected, which is a great system, especially for people with slower PCs. Um, I don't know what exactly EA were thinking when they came up with that idea, but yeah,
They were.
it's
I mean, it could be, and I'm going to speculate here. Definitely, this is total speculation, people. I'm not speaking out of fact. But it could possibly be because of a possible, way to maybe stop, or I don't want to say impose anti-cheat, but maybe stop any exploits from being brought into the game. If
yeah.
someone doesn't load immediately, then they're kicked out. It could be that, or it could just be EA saying, "Hey, we've already screwed up the game this much. We can't do anything, um, anything any more
Well,
harmful to the game."
that wouldn't surprise me. The EA, I think I said last week that EA specifically made F1 2020 worse and took it off the Steam store, so people would have to play F1 2022, which is just a lovely thing that companies do. Um, But anyway, everyone's loading back into the session, and while we are waiting for the lobby to get back open, I'll just quickly read out the standings for everyone. So from last week's standings, so currently your championship leader is Edgen with the 25 points. Actually, 26 points because he also picked up fastest lap. And then behind him is Scraffy, and then it's Callus, and then it's Valid in your top four. In terms of your team standings, it's Ferrari that leads the way on 34, then McLaren on 33, Red Bull on 14, Alfa Romeo on 12, Aston Martin on 8, Williams on 1, and then everyone else, Mercedes, Alpine, Haas, and AlphaTauri, yet to score points this season.
And it is going to be very interesting, definitely, because, as you said, Jeddah, high risk, high reward. So the question is, for those drivers at the back of the field that are like in the AlphaTauris, do they just kind of risk it all and just say, screw it, let's just try everything? Or are they still, cautious, not to push it too far? What do you think they'll do?
It's a very interesting thing to say because, when you look at some of these drivers in this thing, we have some very quick drivers in Tier 1. We were talking about this before, and there is some drivers out there that can extract the maximum from one lap pace, especially people like Edgin, people like Jacob. Well, showing from last week, people like Callis. There is people that can do that one lap. But it's also about getting it all done in race distance as well. And again, if you get one thing wrong here at Saudi Arabia, you're going to be into a wall. You've got to be on concentration from lap 1 to lap 25. It's going to be very interesting.
That's going to be very, very interesting. Of course, they will have probably a small break in the middle when it comes to, the bit between qualifying and the race. But I mean, that's not much of a break, is it? Definitely. I mean,
No.
that's kind of more of just like a, hey, you're going into the race now. Have fun. Yeah. But I mean, these drivers, as we said, they can do it. We've seen some amazing drives from some of these guys. So, they can do it. It is possible. So yeah. Let's see what they do. I'm honestly psyched. I hope we can just join in and get started and we don't have another mass disconnect. So let's go. Let's head out and see what these drivers can do, definitely.
Well, every driver is back into the lobby and the start will be happening once again. Hopefully we won't get as many disconnects as before. If we get a few disconnects, I'm sure they'll be able to rejoin. It's just the fact that, once again, F122 is awfully made. And even when we load into Assetto Corsa, we had a few issues yesterday, but they're a lot easier to fix than there are with EA servers and EA's disconnect policy and whatever. It's just because we have, I think also it doesn't help that we have a lot of people that play from a lot of different countries. People that commentate from a lot of different countries as well. So it's like
Okay, that sounds like a shot at me, definitely. I'm not
it
gonna lie
wasn't
to you. That
wasn't a
sounds like a
shot.
bit of a shot at
Never,
me.
never be a shot, man. I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't shoot as low as that. But yeah, no, it's not the easiest thing in the world to get everyone into one lobby at one time.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess we'll see, definitely. Of course, although we do complain about the F1 games, it isn't as easy as just making game. But of course, we'll see what F123 brings around, and of course, there's a lot of possibilities. For those who don't know yet, DRC is growing rapidly, and we love seeing all support. So please, if you haven't already, follow us on Spotify. I love saying that. You can follow us on Spotify, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, and please do. We love interacting with the community. Devlink, we had 2 people leave, so I don't think that merits
I think
restart.
it was 3 at
I think it's
maximum.
time.
Yeah, I think we are going to actually get into the session now. We obviously can't keep restarting forever. So we are into the lobby now. Those 3 people will hopefully be able to rejoin. If they can't, then we do apologise. But once again, we don't have all day. Other people have got other things to do. But hopefully we'll get everyone back into the lobby shortly as we have some cars coming out of the pits. Someone else who I don't, it's always sad when you don't see him on track. Unfortunately, Vlad is not here today. And
Is he not? Is
no,
Vlad not here? Oh, that's made me sad now.
it's
That's made me sad.
Vlad has chosen to go watch real BTCC racing than race in the fake F1 game, and I think that is just rude, personally.
Definitely.
He didn't do
You
Assetto
would do
Corsa
the
yesterday
same.
either. That's not true.
You would do the same. Yeah, if you had opportunity to watch BTCC instead of commentating, I promise you would go watch BTCC
Well,
any day of the week.
that might be true. But anyway, those 2 are back into the session, and we're going to be on board with Jacob's flying lap. Still have the halo and all stuff working. I haven't got the other overlays working as of yet. That is next week's job. I was going to do it this weekend, but obviously I have had a bit of a cold, and I've been very busy with, coursework and all that stuff. So it's more important doing that. But here we are on board with Jacob and his Aston Martin. Didn't have the best start to his qualifying life in Aston Martin. He actually crashed out in Bahrain. Not only taking himself out, but managed to also take out Vlad later on in the qualifying session. So Jacob will be looking to improve and hopefully set a good lap time in his first major qualifying session with Aston Martin. Would you like to take us through this lap, Panda?
Well, okay, a bit of pressure here, but okay, fine, definitely. We'll go here, running down the main straight. Of course, you want to stay close to the walls because you need to brake late into turn 1. Let's see how Jacob does. He leans on the brakes, doesn't lock off, and beautiful turn in. Turn in for these first turns are very crucial, definitely. You gain and lose so much time in these twisty bits. Jacob has really done a very good job there. Staying on the limit, he could have probably pushed. Oh, and big snap, and that is his front wing off.
And that is
Poor Jacob.
exactly where the circuit can bite you back, as Jacob has collided into the wall. Luckily, not taking anyone else with him. Actually, I say that, I think he might have taken Pockets with him.
I think he might have.
Trying to
Have a
find
look.
Pockets. Where is his car? Which car is Pockets? He's on the... Oh, he has lost his
Oh, he
front wing
has.
Pockets.
Oh, his front wing's
And
gone, yeah.
And Jacob, once again, the man that's normally so consistent in qualifying, has absolutely lost his front wing. And why don't we continue with another Aston Martin? We go to MKL, who's actually on a flying lap right now.
I will now have to find MKL first. As you said, through these tight and twisty sections, it is so important for these drivers to keep it in. And you can see MKL, as we know, MKL is a brilliant driver, but he's keeping it nice and twisty. I want to say twisty, but he's keeping it nice and agile. That's the word that I'm looking for. And he'll brake as late as he possibly can, but you don't want to lock up. It is a left-hander, which means it is easy to lock up, but MKL doesn't, and it is beautiful, beautiful exit there from him. Keeping it close to the wall, he's going to brake as late as possible, shove it in right, shove it in left, and then he has invalidated. We're not having the best of luck on laps, are we, today?
No, being validated. It was very tight. Track limits around here are quite a pain. So Wilton is the first man to set a lap time, goes on to pole position with a 1:29.4. We're going to keep an eye on who else is setting a lap time. RD Gamer, I think he's on his out lap, so he won't be setting a lap time. Mizzy is still finishing his lap, so Morris is the man we're going to be looking at now. Where can he put his Red Bull? Can he put it onto pole position? Nope, he puts it onto the front row. Very close, though, between everyone, and there's a lot of people coming down to their laps now. So Kimmerai starts their flying lap. Edgin goes on to pole.
Edgin.
With
there's
a 20,
Edgin, a second.
28.2, that's a second faster. Cook goes 5th fastest. Penguin goes into the 28 as well, so it is possible. Bez. Was Bez racing last weekend? I can't remember.
I am actually not quite sure either. I can't remember the name, but once again, my memory is not the best. That's why I've actually brought a notepad with me. Mizzy, a beautiful lap time, challenging Edgin, 3 temps out of Edgin, but that could just be Edgin having a bit of a warm-up lap. But I'm again, yeah, Mizzy, beautiful lap from him, 1:27.9. 3 tenths on Edgen, that's good, definitely. That is very, very good.
It's an incredible lap time indeed from the Red Bull driver. Callis, on the other hand, is doing his lap at the moment. Igor goes third fastest with a 1:28.8. Let's see what the McLarens can do now. Callis on his lap at the moment. Kimirai is also on his first lap, his first qualifying lap of the year, because he didn't take part in Bahrain. So where can Callis put his car? Can he put it onto the front row? Can he put it onto pole position? He put it on the front row last weekend. He goes second fastest, ahead of Edgen. Another car ahead of Edgen, but not close enough to Mizzy.
And here comes his teammate now, Kimirai, also going for his first lap. 22 out of the final corner. I think it's going to be close, but I don't know how close, definitely. This is going to be very interesting. And he goes fourth. I mean, definitely, just look at how close they are. 127.9 for Mizzy. 128.2 for Callis. Edgen 128.2. Kimirai 128.3. I mean, it is such a close field spread in the top 4. I don't think we've seen it that close for quite a while now.
And MKL makes it even closer with a 28.4 as he goes just behind the front the front 4. But yeah, Mizzy on their own at the moment out front. Striker Boy is also on a lap in his Alpine. Failed to score points in his race, his debut race for Alpine, but he did finish 11th, so it wasn't a bad result for him at all. Can he put his car towards the front of the grid? He's normally pretty good during qualifying sessions, as he learns the ways of Formula 1 without the use of traction control. Thunderfox goes 6th fastest, and I said last week that Thunderfox was a man to look out for on 1 lap pace, and he puts it 6th on the grid.
But the question is, definitely, he also said he's good on 1 lap pace, but not necessarily as good on that race pace. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does in the race. But yeah, a lot of very good laps coming in here. Early doors, of course, early doors. And I believe Edgen might be coming out. No, not yet. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see here what these drivers can do. But yeah, I'm fairly impressed so far. Mizzy 3 tenths in front of Callis. It's going to be a tight race. I'll tell you that much, definitely. It is going to be such a tight race.
Yeah, that Mizzy lap is very good indeed. Actually, if you remember, I remember last year from Tier 2, Vlad put it onto pole position in Tier 2. Unfortunately, not here this weekend. I'm sure he would have preferred to be racing here than Bahrain. As Jacob is actually on a flying lap right now, as he looks to put a lap time on the board in his Aston Martin. His teammate up in 5th. Can Jacob put himself near that top 5? He goes with a purple first sector, apparently. Let's keep an eye on this Jacob lap. He's always been handy at 1 lap pace.
And he is indeed. Jacob, I mean, a purple sector 1, that would surprise me a lot. But of course, as you said, he is a good driver, so I'm not discounting him. Of course, I think he was, what was he? Last season was in a Ferrari alongside Igor, I believe.
Yes.
And we saw how consistent they could be, definitely. I mean, those 2 Ferraris last season, of course, would constantly be up there in the times. So it isn't impossible. Jacob, from what I've heard, he's found a bit of a rhythm. And I think he's liking his new team as well. So let's have a look what this lap is. But it wouldn't surprise me if he definitely goes into that top 5.
Well, Jacob apparently 2 purple sectors on this lap. Could it be just his own purple sectors? The game doesn't really like to tell us. But Jacob coming up towards the line now. Where can he put his car? Is it going to be on the front row? It's onto pole position by not a lot, but it's a 27.9, and that's an incredible lap considering he hit the wall on his first lap. And once again, the world champion, Jacob, Season 4 world champion, is showing why he won that world championship.
And I mean, beautiful from him. What a pole position! 127.9. Well, that's 300ths clear of Mizzy. What a lap there from Jacob. Yeah. I mean, that's honestly, that's what we live for, definitely, isn't it? As commentators, that's what we live for, These drivers just coming out of nowhere, setting it on pole, having a free 10 field spread. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. It's really amazing indeed. Edgen is going to begin his next flying lap here. And let's see what Edgen can do. He's currently 4th on the grid. He'd like to be a bit higher up. Obviously, his main rival, Scrappy, is not at this race this weekend, but there's clearly some new challenges that are approaching here. Saudi Arabia is one of those tracks that you can be really, really good at. And I remember racing Jacob around here a few seasons ago, and he was very quick around there. I'm sure he's going to be very quick today. But clearly that Aston Martin has hit the wall. He caught it once, he lost it twice. But he has got a bit of front wing damage, and that abandons his lap. But yeah, you can see that setup from Edgen is on the edge. He was basically sliding his way through every corner.
And that's the thing is, definitely, it's these drivers have these edgy setups because, of course, in theory, it helps you extract every single bit of performance out of the car. But the problem is, it is on rails, as you said. I mean, if you go on the throttle a second too early, or you turn in a millisecond too early, it will snap on you and it will kill you.
It tends to.
So it tends to, and of course, you get drivers who like more understeery setup. But the problem is, if it's too understeery, you won't have enough pace in the corners. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think personally, out of a technical perspective, what the setups will be in the race trim. Of course, maybe there's a possibility that Edge's setup is very loose now, but once he puts in a race trim with all that fuel on, it gets heavy and it gets a very stable rear end. So I guess we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. I like talking about setups and explaining setups. I'm a bit of a technical guy. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these setups give the drivers throughout the race, because tire wear, of course, definitely could also be a factor today.
Could be a massive factor, but in terms of lap time pace right now in qualifying, MKL goes 0.3 faster in the first sector on his teammate's lap, and he goes another 0.3 faster in the middle sector. The Aston Martin's really hooking up the track here as MKL looks to beat his teammate to pole position, and this could be quite the incredible lap time indeed. Obviously, we saw an Aston on pole last year in Tier 2. Are we going to see another Aston on pole? Was it going to be an Aston Martin one too? Let's see what MKL can do as he comes around the final corner.
And I mean, definitely, it is amazing. These Astons look very set up. As you said, MKL, where will he go? Oh, does he? He's P3. P3 hops up into P3. 2/10 off his teammate. 2/10 off his teammate. That's not too bad. But Jacob hasn't gone for a second run yet. I'll tell you what, Deflink. Those Astons are looking pretty damn quick today. They're very stable. They're not having to fight the car. It's looking really, really good.
They've set their cars up absolutely perfectly. And it's a really perfect window to get these cars. Basically, as you were saying, you want it on rails, but you also want it to, work in an actual race trim with fuel. But Callis here is doing a flying lap. He hasn't found a purple first sector, but he has improved on his first sector lap time. He'll be looking to jump ahead of MKL, but again, there's not really a lot in it between the top four right now. So any time he finds is good time as Callis goes another 10th faster in the middle sector, but he runs a bit wide coming out of turn 22, and that could cost him dear.
It could indeed, but also remember, with these tires, definitely, he will have more grip on those rear tires when he accelerates, so it should hopefully nullify it. He gets a decent last turn. It could have been better, but his acceleration was decent. It goes up to the line now. Is that Mizzy out? Has Mizzy retired? Yes, Mizzy has. Oh, and Callis stays in P4.
And I think Mizzy has hit the wall on one of his laps. We're just going to see on Bez's outlap here where Mizzy has hit the wall. I think it's similar to the Mick Schumacher incident. It is, as Mizzy's on the right-hand side of the circuit.
Oh, no.
And that's
horrible for Mizzy.
That is. And I think Cook's also had a bit of an incident as he gone into the wall. I think he's just had a quick spin. Track is really slippery out there this afternoon, as it tends to be. But Mizzy out of the session, still on the front row. And that will be a big moment indeed in qualifying. He will obviously keep his front row spot unless anyone can beat his lap time.
And I apologize, definitely. Cook has just hit the wall. He has survived, but he's hit the wall. And there's Alfa Romeo coming. We'll see. Hopefully there aren't any collisions. But yeah, definitely that's a big incident for Mizzy. He was a contention for pole here, and that's definitely not the way he'll want to go out.
So Edgen begins his next flying lap here, looking very smooth through the first corner. You can just see the way he turns that car and he's got complete control of it. Bearing in mind that he had a major issue in this middle sector. Now this is where you want to hook the car up properly. Run it through 6th gear. You can run it a bit lower if you want to, but Edgen clearly happy running it on higher gears. But once again, he runs over those curbs and it's clearly not working for him, but he keeps it going, and I don't know how much he's lost in that first sector. He's down 92 thousandths on, I think that's pole position, so he hasn't lost too much, but it wasn't a good first sector for Edgen.
It definitely wasn't, and definitely you could see, him using higher gears. Usually you wouldn't use those high gears. You'd rather go, for 5th and 6th. He went for 6th and 7th, which means that he was probably trying to avoid all sorts of, rear slipperiness. Using high gears, hopefully getting a more smoother traction. But it just didn't work for him. Still losing. You're in purple sector 2, a 10th up. But he unfortunately, just still lost it. So it shows he's not quite happy with the setup, and it's not quite where it wants to be. Yellow flag in sector 1, but it has been cleared up. Edgen now into the final corner. Dives in late. Still beautiful rotation from him. I'll give him that, because he's a bit hesitant on the gears, not really pushing it as much as he usually does. And he goes to the line, and that is the purple. What is that? 20 hundredths ahead
Yeah.
of Jacob? Sorry, 20 thousandths ahead of Jacob. I mean,
He found that
if
all in the
Jacob
final
goes
sector.
out on a lap, if Jacob gets out on a lap here, definitely, he could proper well take pole position.
Good. That will probably be Edgen's final lap time. 2:30 on the clock. He's going to have to run it back to the pits if he wants another chance. But you can see that clearly that car is set up for straight line speed. He gained that all that time in the final sector. Edgen clearly planning on doing some overtaking this afternoon, but he might struggle during the middle sector. But again, as you said, if he's running full fuel, maybe the car is less twitchy than it is when he's not running full fuel. But everyone out on their next outlaps, and this is the man we're watching. It's Jacob, who is looking to take his first pole position of the season, but he won't. Remember, he got that 5-place grid penalty from taking out pockets, so he will only start 5th fastest if he puts it on pole position.
He will indeed. I do want to have a chat, definitely. I saw something very ominous. I was looking at the Aston Martins as they both came out of the pits, and it's something I can't really tell you how I know it, but I just, you could see in kind of the car's body language that they're not playing. They're ready to race. So it might sound stupid, but it's I think they just kind of have an attitude of, we're here to race, and we're not settling for anything less than pole. As I said, of course, Jacob has that 5-place grid penalty, but I mean, if he's this fast, I don't think it'll do much of a disservice to him.
It won't matter too much indeed, but he will obviously want to get it on pole so he can get the maximum gain from having that 5-place grid penalty. As he lines up for his last flying lap here, Edgen back in the pits. All he can do now, Edgen, is watch and hope that no one can beat his lap time. Obviously, Jacob can beat his lap time, but it won't matter because he'll still start on pole. Mizzy is out of the session. The only one that could really beat Edgen to pole position is MKL, who's currently sits in 4th fastest, as Jacob sets on his flying lap.
And crucially enough, MKL only has to gain 2 tenths. Now, you can watch Jacob if you want, definitely, but I'm going to keep my eye on MKL. He only needs to gain about 2.5 tenths, and he'll be ahead of Edgen on pole. Now, I'm not quite sure if MKL has set a pole position in Tier 1 before, but I'll tell you what, if he can get pole around here, it's going to be special. And he's already gained a 10th in the first sector, so MKL doing good. How's Jacob doing?
Well, I've actually moved over to MKL. Jacob, I don't know if he's improving his lap time. I'm watching MKL
Purple
as
sector
it stands.
1. He has.
And Jacob on purple sector 1 as well. So Igor sets his pit pace, the man we haven't been looking at, 27.8. And a new challenger approaches it for Ferrari 1-2 as it stands, and Aston Martin have some gains to make. McLaren also only 6th and 8th. They'll be looking to improve on their times as well. But Igor, the new challenger there, we know he's fast, but he's been so inconspicuous in this qualifying session, I didn't expect him to be there.
And just interesting, yeah, I didn't expect him either, definitely. But MKL, purple sector 2 as well. Don't think Jacob got this purple sector 2. So MKL could pull a worldie out of here. He was up 2 tenths. If he can gain another 10th here, he could put it on pole. Let's have a look. He's coming to the line now. Will this be pole for MKL? Yes, it is! MKL puts it on pole at 1:27.868, and his teammate goes to P3, and that won't be enough for Jacob. But what a pole position there, definitely, from MKL. What a lap.
Nicks it at the final, and it's not a lot in it at all between first, second, and third. And to be fair, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, all close together. There's a few people still doing lap times, but no one's going to challenge the lap time of MKL. It's an Aston Martin on pole from a Ferrari, from another Ferrari, and then it'll be Mizzy, Callas, and I think Jacob will start P6, I believe, or P7. I'm trying to work out 5 places in my head. I think it's P7.
Jacob... No, 5 places is P8, isn't it?
Oh, P8, yeah. Brain is
3
not...
plus 5 is 8 there.
Brain is not
3
running
plus
today.
5 is 8.
So Wilton is going to be the next man to cross the line. Where can he put his car? Goes 15th fastest. Decent improvement, but not really enough. But everyone has done their laps. That is the end of qualifying. And it's MKL who's the man on pole position. And that is a quality lap time. But you've got to also say Igor with one hell of a chance to take pole there right at the end.
Yeah, what a hell of a chance, but unfortunately he didn't. MKL taking very narrowly, but he still took it, and that shows definitely, MKL is, he's brought his A game. He's really brought his A game. We saw how good he was here last season, so I'm very, very excited to see what he can do this season.
Yep, let's see what he can do. He was challenging for wins and podiums towards the end of last season. He has challenged for World Championships before. He'll want to challenge for one this year. But as qualifying comes to an end, we now aim for a 25-lap race. And we're going to see who can pull out the bag, who's got the best race pace. We know Edgin's fantastic on race pace, but clearly not the strongest around this circuit as he was in Bahrain. But we'll see what happens in a few minutes' time as we get underway for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
And definitely, I do just want to say, the McLarens not doing as good as we expected. That's quite a shock for me.
Yep, 6th and 9th only on the grid. That is disappointment indeed for McLaren. Aston Martin approaching as a new challenger. We know they had a strong lineup. We mentioned it in the first podcast, but we didn't know how strong it was. And look at the gaps between 1st and 5th. My goodness me.
Even 6. I mean, 6 is just 3/10 behind. Definitely.
Less than
I mean, these times are. It's just amazing.
It's less than a 10th between 1st and 5th. Less than 3/10 between 1st and 6th. And a second separate the top 15. That is not far off at all. So your top 10, MKL on pole position with Igor in 2nd. Jacob qualified 3rd, but will start 8th. Then Edgin, then Mizzy, then Callis, then Thunderfox, then Penguin, then Kimmerai, then Morris in your top 10. We've got a very interesting Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, considering how close everyone is. Did not expect it to be this close.
Well, definitely. I'll tell you what, it is this close, and we're gonna. I think we're gonna have a great time commentating. I'm writing down notes for our next podcast. So I'm gonna have to. I have a feeling my hand's gonna get sore of writing in this race because I think we can expect a lot of action around here.
Vlad put in the race commentator chat when I said he saved it once, he lost it twice, and he said went hard.
It did. To be fair, it was a very good line.
I didn't even realize I said it. Like as soon as I said it, I was like, oh, that's I quite like that. But
that was good. Honestly, I think the real Alex Jakes is gonna steal that from you.
He will.
Or you might just become the new Alex Jakes. Honestly, at this rate, you could probably just commentate at F1 weekend and no one will notice.
Probably not. That would be nice.
You could. I mean, imagine that. We'll do it someday. We'll just go and kidnap Alex Jakes. This was all a joke, by the way, just for in case.
Yeah, just in case Alex Jakes is listening, or anyone from
we
F1.
love you. We love you, Alex Jakes. But we'll just.
You should be commentating real Formula One, the main show.
Yeah, you should exactly. Wait, does he not?
No,
am I missing something? He does.
He does, but he doesn't do it on Sky. Is what I'm trying to say. He should do Sky commentary.
Oh no, don't do Sky commentary. Everyone loves F1 commentary.
It's true. F1 commentary is great. Put Crofty on F1.
Exactly. Oh, honestly, I thought about that. They should really get Crofty on F1 commentary. First, last remark: Will Buxton is the GOAT.
I like Will
if
Buxton.
If you start on pole, you're starting ahead of all the other drivers.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the race. It seems like we're having a bit of a wait here. That's why Deflink and I are waffling about F1 commentary. And here we go, Deflink. 28 seconds.
28 seconds on the clock, and we're going to get underway shortly. 20 seconds to go before we head for the 5 red lights. It is MKL on pole, followed by Edgin on the front row. Jacob was very quick last weekend. He made it through traffic very quickly indeed. I'm going to see if he can do the same thing today. He clearly had the pace for pole, but that 5-place grid penalty really put him down in a few places. But we're going to find out what's going to happen here as the 5 red lights come on for the starting grid. And it's 5 red lights, and we're underway for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And it's a good start from Igor. It's a good start from MKL as Igor gets straight up into the lead. MKL trying to go around the outside. Igor on the inside. Now he's on the outside line. They're still wheel to wheel as they go through the corner. And they've actually kept it very clean through turn 1 as Igor takes the lead of the Grand Prix. There's a yellow flag behind. And there's a lot of retirements behind.
It's a big accident.
And it's a big accident. Car, and it's a safety car lap one.
That was a massive accident. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But it looks like Puck. There's Alfa Romeo. There's Alpine in the wall. So those two must have tangled. Yeah, so Striker Boy, Fudge and Muffin they must have tangled because they're both in the wall. Cook at the back of the field as well. I believe he is actually unscathed. Penguin was in there as well, and Pockets was as well, but it looks like they all got out of there unharmed. That was a massive accident, definitely. Continuing to talk about the start of the race, Igor having a very good start, and MKL not being able to keep up. Mizzy having a decent start, losing a bit of traction, but he kept it in P3. Edgen P4 now. Callis and Kimarai both up a few positions. Very good from the two McLaren guys. And Jacob P6 already, making up 2 positions already. I think he can be very proud of himself.
And that was a good start of the race. A lot of people running the mediums, a few people running the hards. As we quickly have a check of the replay from the start of the race. That is the wrong button. There it is. You can see the instant replay here at the start of the race. It was a really good start from Igor as he took the lead into turn 1. MKL tried to fight him back, but couldn't really get the grip that he needed. Considering they're both on the medium tyres, it was a bit of a struggle. But once again, they made the move and they made it all good as there was a big accident towards the back of the grid with Striker Boy and Fudge McMuffin. So hopefully those two are right. But those are our own first 2 retirees and a first safety car. You always get a safety car around this circuit. We've got a few people in the pits.
And of course, they will be pitting. So we'll have a look at the people pitting. RD Gamer, Wilton Wild replacing his wing. Penguin just putting on new tires, and RD Gamer putting on a new wing as well. So some of them coming in for new tires, but Penguin, for interest's sake, not doing the wing, just new tires. It's going to be very interesting. Definitely have a look at the strategies, though. Of course, you can do a 1-stop or a 2-stop. A lot of variations. Of course, you can do the hard mediums or medium hards. You can also do medium hards or medium hard medium, or of course hard medium medium. A lot of different strategies for these drives today, but I think it all depends on when the safety cars come out and how they come out.
Well, no one's decided to go with my strategy of soft medium. I don't know why. It's personally a very good strategy. Yep.
You
So
say so.
Igor leads from MKL from Mizzy. Now Mizzy will want to go long into this race. Obviously, he's running those hard tyres. He want to try and stick it out probably until lap, I'm going to say 15, 16 to put on a set of mediums. Maybe even later. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Callis also doing the same. And the medium runners, I think, can go about 10 laps on these mediums. They don't last very long around here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, your math is about right. Mizzy can go about 15, 16 laps, and the mediums can go about 10 laps. So that's why you're looking at 10, 15 or 15, 10. Of course, we do see people do 2-stops because the tires, as I said, do wear out quite quickly. So 2-stop isn't out of the option, but you have to be fast enough to make a 2-stop work, and that's going to be the crucial factor. If someone like Igor can break off from the pack and get a massive lead, then a 2-stop might be viable. But you have to have that gap, otherwise it won't work at all. Most of the people are looking at a 1-stop, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a 2-stop from some people.
Well, it'd be interesting to see a 2-stop. I don't really tend to choose a 2-stop around here, even with my soft tyre fiascos. But we will see. I'm sure someone will give it a go. So Edgen currently running in P4. His teammate is leading the race. Jacob is in a McLaren sandwich as it stands. Kimarai is currently in P7 on his debut for McLaren as he looks to try and match Callis' performance from last weekend. Callis, once again...
No, there's an accident. There's an accident on the safety car. MKL just got turned around by Mizzy. Mizzy just absolutely turned around MKL. And MKL now falling down to P13. And that's going to be a report. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what, that's going to definitely be a report. Let's see if MKL can gain any positions back here. Back into 11th, but I don't think he'll be able to go any higher. Yeah, Mizzy just literally turning around MKL. That was not very ideal.
Oh, we didn't catch that on stream. That was a very unusual thing. You don't tend to see that very often. But it's promoted Callis up into P3, with Mizzy now running in P4. Sorry, it's sneezing. But yeah, that is going to be a penalty coming the way of Mizzy if it was proven to be that way. I'm sure it was. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens later on in the steward's room. But that is not for us to discuss. The steward's room is there for a reason, as Callis has just gained a few places from the chaoticness. Chaoticness, is that a word? It's in the Deflink.
I don't know.
It's in the Deflink dictionary now. I've made it a
Dictionary. The Deflink official dictionary.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Deflink. We might not be the stewards, but we do like to speculate, don't we? We do have a tendency to like. speculating. I've had a lot of times where I would speculate and say, "Oh, this could happen," and then a driver messaged me and says, "Why didn't it happen? You said it was going to happen." No, I did not say it was going to happen. I said it could happen. Safety car in this lap. MKL starting from P11, Deflink, but a top 3 now. Igor, Edgin, and Callus.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see what happens here. Igor won't be under pressure from Edgin because obviously Edgin gaining a few positions due to the whole chaotic nature of what happened. Edgin will look to just defend for a while. He's not going to attack his teammate, or I don't think he's going to attack his teammate. Where is Igor going to go? We're going to ride on board with Callus at the restart. And here we go. We're underway now as it looks like Edgin has got the jump on his teammate, but not going for the move into turn 1. As we can see, Igor still leads from Edgin. Now Callus, as Valid is making a move past Thunderfox. Bez is making a move past Morris. Morris on the inside, which is now going to turn to the outside for the next corner. But not too many places made up at the restart there. Everyone very clean at the start of that restart.
Yeah, I think everyone just wanted to keep it out of the walls. You know, they had that scary accident at the start of the race, and they didn't want another one. And that is a red. Is it a Red Bull? I think it is a Red Bull. Oh, and that's Morris. Oh, and that's Morris at the back of the field. Had a spin, and he is unfortunately out. Quick thing, definitely, if you can have a look at P16 and 14 and 15, we have a massive battle going on between the Mercs and the Williams.
Yep, RD Gamer on the running on the hard tyres. These guys pitted on the opening laps here due to the obviously the safety car. Bear's getting back into the game. He's currently running in P9. But yeah, the Mercs swapping places. The Mercs not running as high up as they would like to. But you can look at that gap from Igor. Igor pulled out 1.8 seconds, and I wonder there's got to be some team play going on here.
It could well be. It could well be. But of course, I mean, it's going to sound very weird, but could it just be Edgin being slow? It's going to sound very stupid, but I mean, Edgin losing 2 seconds to a teammate, that's not something we really see.
Well, we don't see it very often as Bez and MKL are battling for P10 as MKL looks to make up his positions. Igor sets the fast lap of the race. Here comes MKL. So he looks to go up the inside. He doesn't have the straight line speed that Bez clearly does. Might be some dumping of VRS going on as MKL stays in P10. Bez in P9 as we have a yellow flag in Sector 1 as there's Callus is round.
2 McLarens, Kimmerai and Callus, both. Kimmerai and Callus both. Being involved in the incident. Oh, and MKL diving down the inside of Bez! And that was such a brave move from MKL, and he still did it. Callus losing a lot of ground now. I think he had a spin, and not ideal for him. MKL already, though, on the back of Kimmerai. Kimmerai almost brake-checked him there. But look at this, definitely. I mean, what a recovery drive already from MKL. The guy is just an absolute master at recovery drives, isn't he?
He is. He really is. I think there's some major issues going on with the hard tyres. I think people are really struggling to get the grip out of them, as proven by Callus. And MKL now on the back of Kimmerai. And I think Kimmerai is really struggling here. I don't know if he's got a bit of damage from the incident into turn 1. We're going to find out if MKL can get past him. We're already on to lap 5 here of 25. Only 20 laps to go. MKL's not going to have a go into turn 22. That is not a place you want to overtake. But look at Kimmerai. He's struggling. He's definitely got some damage on his car.
And now, let's see, does MKL decide to turn on that ERS button, magical ERS? No, he doesn't, because currently, or he does now, but Kimmerai is actually dumping as we speak, which is very interesting. As we see that, wait, is that Bez?
Is that Bez trying to go for a move? And
Bez?
There's some 4-wide action going on into turn 1, as Kimmerai does pull off into the pits. And it might be 3 wide into turn 1. The slipstream effect around this circuit is insane as MKL looks to defend, and he defends well ahead of Johnny. Keeps it into turn 1.
Bez!
As Bez runs deep into the corner. I think it's because he disconnected again. And he's down now into P8, and it's now his AI running the show. Yeah,
not ideal. But I'll tell you what, I mean, where did he come from? Because he just came out of absolutely nowhere and joined that battle. I thought it was MKL versus...
He's got some straight line speed.
Red Bull. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Bez doing absolutely amazing. Well done to Bez. But MKL now up into P7. The race isn't over yet, definitely. The race is not over yet.
Race is not over yet at all. 2.4 seconds the gap out front. Thunderfox running a great race for Haas in P6. You know, as I said, he's a good driver. He hasn't had the opportunity to show it all the time, but he's showing it here at Saudi Arabia. Currently running in P6, and you never know, with all the incidents going on around this circuit today, Could he be running higher up towards the end of the Grand Prix? We don't know, as Mizzy is the only one in the top 10 who's on the hard set of tyres.
He is indeed. I want to have a look real quick, if we can, definitely, at Valid now. Valid does have DRS, and behind him, of course, is DRC Jacob. Jacob will be looking to get past Valid. Valid not having the best qualifying, but he's done good to get himself up into that position. Johnny getting past Bez. But the biggest thing is Valid now with DRS, and funnily enough, Mizzy is towing him along. Mizzy's pace is not that bad. As DRC Jacob gets the fast lap, will Jacob go for the move? No, he doesn't, but he almost did.
He thinks about it into turn 1, but thinks better of it. He has got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he is pushing Valid all the way. Now, he want to go and try and challenge the top 3 if he can. He knows he's got some insane pace in that Aston Martin. We've got another yellow flag. It's Callis again
McLaren,
in turn 1.
Both?
It's a day for McLaren to forget. Both McLarens now down in 14th and 15th. Bad day in the office for McLaren.
McLaren's had so much potential. We were really hyping them up, but just not a good day in the office for them. Edge now 2.2 seconds behind Igor. Mizzy 2.2 behind Edgin. Valid 7 seconds behind. And then Jacob is on the run, and he wants to catch up with Valid. 3.5 tenths.
And
A
Jacob's
bit bigger
setup,
now.
you can see that he does sometimes struggle with he's making those corners well, but he does have a bit of understeer. I know Jacob well. He does enjoy a good understeery setup, but he is very quick indeed. And will he have the straight line speed to get at Valid here? The thing that's going on right now is Valid obviously has the DRS from Mizzy. Mizzy hasn't got any DRS at all, but that doesn't really matter because it basically stops Jacob from moving on, and Mizzy stays exactly where he is, and Valid can't go anywhere either. So this is what we call the DRS train, as Wilton does get past Bez there, and Bez now down into 11th. After having such a strong qualifying session, I think the constant disconnects are really struggling, making him struggle here today.
It is definitely making him struggle. I had that last week. It's not fun. But a quick thing, MKL making the move on Johnny. No, he doesn't. But Johnny does go deep. MKL goes for the switchback. Will it work? No, it won't. Oh, no, it will. It will. It will. Through gaze MKL. What a move. Definitely. Please tell me you saw that.
I did see that. I was watching Thunderfox. I was watching Pockets and Johnny, sorry. Thunderfox losing out to MKL. I saw he was closing in. But great from MKL, who takes into P6. He's now behind his teammate. So both Astons up into the top 6 there for Aston Martin after their pretty, well, I'd say wretched weekend last weekend. It wasn't really that wretched, but it's definitely an improvement as both cars running in the top 6 here. And Jacob, I think he's on track for a podium this afternoon.
He is definitely, but of course he has his teammate right behind him. So honestly, he might be on, but it isn't going to be easy. I'll tell you
I like
that
this camera
much.
shot.
Ooh, I'm not quite sure which one you're talking about.
I've never seen this.
Agree.
Helicopter cam. It's great.
Oh yeah, it's very nice through the last sector. It's extremely nice. That helicopter cam. Yellow flag.
I think it's a McLaren again.
No, I don't think it was. No, the McLaren drove through it. It was there before the McLaren was there.
It was a phantom yellow flag.
It was.
But Jacob, on the other hand, may have a chance to take P4. But actually, Valid is the chance that we're going to be looking at right now. He's got a chance for the podium position. Mizzy really struggling. He's going to have to go for a dive into turn 1. No, he thinks better of it. Sticks behind him. Mizzy just doing a good job of holding on. And Thunderfox straight back past MKL. MKL tries to keep it up the inside as there's a Red Bull crashed in the second sector. As MKL now with the switchback on Thunderfox. Can he keep it all the way around the outside?
Yes, he has.
Does, but he runs a bit off circuit. Thunderfox might say he took that position off circuit, but he sticks behind him, and it's now Thunderfox in P7 and MKL still in P6. But this battle will go on for a while, I feel.
It will indeed. But yeah, honestly, if I was Thunderfox though, definitely, I would just kind of stick behind MKL. I mean, you know the guy's more pace than you. Just let him tow you along. You have a DRS, just let him tow you along. Don't go for the move. But hey, you know, who would know what his intentions are? Valid still not getting close enough to Mizzy. But definitely, as you said, these mediums will only last for about 10 laps, and we're getting to their expiry dates.
We are really getting to the expiry date indeed. Jacob looking to close in on Valid. He is been closing in for a few laps. He doesn't have the DRS that he would... Well, he does have the DRS, but he doesn't have the straight line speed that he would normally want for an overtake.
And, well, I guess we'll see. Of course, you know, Jacob not losing a huge amount of time. So him sitting in this toe probably isn't as bad as we might think. Is Valid going to go for the move here on Mizzy as ERS turned on? He turns it off now, and I think he's just going to stick in behind again, and that will irritate Jacob for another round.
Mizzy doing a great job of defending here on these set of hard tyres. Johnny has just made his position past Pockets.
Has he?
Or has he? Is he still battling for the position? Pockets trying to go around the
Indeed.
outside, and he's getting squeezed off there. Oh, there's a bit of contact made. Pockets was not happy with the squeeze he was given, but Pockets remains in P8 with Johnny staying in P9. Obviously, there's history between these two drivers. There's history between a lot of these drivers on this grid. But once again, Pockets keeping ahead, and Johnny can't get the move done as Edgens closed the gap here on the leader.
He has indeed, and he's closing the gap quickly. So the thing is, I assume Igor won't make this hard for Edgen, but of course,
Sorry to interrupt. Valid almost lost the rear end of his car coming through the left-hander. That was very, very close. He was basically drifting through that corner. And just keep an eye on Edgen as well. I don't know if we're going to see any battling between the two Ferraris. I would imagine not. But maybe
we won't.
The battle thing is Morris retires in the pits. It's been a wretched afternoon for him and Red Bull. He's out of the session and our third retiree of the race.
And he is unfortunately out of the race, but his teammate Mizzy is still in. The question is, Igor is boxing. Okay, so Igor boxes. So Igor maybe slowing down or telling Edgen to push so that he can give Edgen that a bit of what did I say? Slipstream DRS. Sorry. Jacob now into the box, and the other Aston Martin of MKL does continue on, but Jacob now crucially in the pits. Let's see where he comes out.
And that will be very important for Jacob's race. Mizzy now still in P2. He's moved up a position due to not having to pit yet. It'll be interesting to see what Valid can do now, because Valid obviously he's been under pressure from Jacob for a few laps. He'll probably be pitting in the next lap or two. So I wonder if he can put Mizzy under a bit more pressure. Thunderfox gets the first 3-second time penalty. Surprised it's taken us this long, to be honest with you, for exceeding track limits. Track limits around here are absolutely brutal. As Bez looking for a move on Wilton here. This is for P8. Mercedes having a better afternoon of it. Wilton looking to score the first points for Mercedes-Benz, as well as Bez looking to score their first points for AlphaTauri.
Now, the thing is, as you said, it is their first point, so I don't think they should get too greedy. But, of course, these are drivers, definitely. And greedy is in all of their middle names, isn't it?
It is.
They won't give up positions, even if they have to. So I guess we'll see where that goes. Valid now, not catching Mizzy anymore. And I think it's good that the Aston Martin of Jacob pitted, because not only is he closing up to Igor, definitely, but... as Edgen sets the fastest lap. How has Edgen set the fastest lap on 10-lap old mediums? Def. I mean, how has he done that?
That
has to be illegal.
He has that ability, and it looks like Pockets may be boxing this lap, and he is, along with Thunderfox and MKL. Wilton carries on, so does Bez. Johnny up into P4 now as well. Maybe some of these guys waiting on a safety car, as Igor is moving back up through the positions, as he looks to chase down his teammate Edgen. And I wonder when he catches his teammate. Obviously, his teammate Edgen was only about a tenth behind him when the box happened for Igor. So Igor's going to have to really push to still come out in the lead, especially with Edgen pushing a fastest lap with a 1:30.
Well, indeed, and Edge's tires won't be very happy, but more importantly, Valid's tires won't be happy either. Of course, definitely, Valid has been an irritation to Jacob because of that DRS train. But the thing is, Valid now staying out, losing a lot of time, and that's going to hopefully help Jacob here pull a gap. And hopefully, when Valid pits, Jacob will come out ahead. Maybe Valid's doing the medium-soft strategy that you're so popular for.
Oh,
as Callis, that's a DNF.
Hit the wall, and that's going to be a safety car. And that has absolutely played into so many people's hands. The man it hasn't played into hands is Igor and Jacob and MKL. Both now down in P9, 10, and 11. Thunderfox also screwed by this safety car. Edgen, on the other hand, will be licking his lips. He's into the pits and will come out definitely in the lead. Mizzy, once again, also a man who can pit now. He's got a long run to go on those medium tyres, though, Mizzy.
But just remember, definitely, if those mediums last 10 laps, and the safety car is out for another 2 laps. That's 10 laps, right? At least. Which means that Mizzy won't have a lot of wear. He'll be able to make it to the end. And remember, if he can get the jump on Edgin, this could become a very interesting race. The race win isn't guaranteed for Edgin, and anything can still happen. I'm very excited to see what will happen.
And I got drops behind both Valid and Mizzy. But the interesting thing I want to draw everyone's attention to right now is there's one man that decided pitting isn't for me under the safety car. And that is Wilton, who has stayed out on his 11-lap-old hard tyres. He thinks they can go to the end of the race. And that is... let's see if this risky strategy plays off. But he is in the lead as it stands.
And yeah, he is in the lead, but he's not going to stay for long, I don't think. Jacob, funny enough, definitely also pitting for a new front wing. Let's put him down into P13. Kimurai, P14. Not a very good day for those drivers. Wilton in front with Edgin behind. Right behind Edgin is Mizzy. He may have DNF'd out of qualifying, but I'll tell you what, he doesn't want to DNF out of the race. Valid right behind him. Valid, of course, not showing as much pace. But he held on to that DRS. And then, of course, it is Igor in P5. Igor and MKL will be battling it out, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no, I think Mizzy is actually in the best position here. Those medium tyres will be nice and warm when this restart happens. A lot warmer than Edgin's hards, and definitely a lot warmer than Wilson's hards. So I think the man to look at the restart is Mizzy. But it's going to be a very interesting race now. Igor is definitely the one that has been screwed over the most by this safety car. He would have come back out in the lead if when Edgin decided to pit, or it would have been a lot closer than it was. That's for sure.
And of course, I would like to point out, definitely, there is a good chance that this isn't the last safety car of the race, which means Mizzy could be in a good position, because if there is another safety car, he can go into the soft tires, which you love so much, and he can finish the race on them. So honestly, anything can still happen in this race. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. Safety car not in this lap. I think it's going to be another lap at least.
Should be another lap.
But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm going to be very excited, definitely. It's been a good race so far. It has been a good race. And yeah, a lot of expectations broken. My notepad is getting... it's getting there, slowly but surely. But I guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to see indeed. I got... On the 3-lap-old hards, he's the only one on the, well, apart from Wilton, on the oldest set of hard tyres. Now, the thing with Mercedes here, obviously, you know, you look at where Mercedes are, one's down in 15th, one's down in P1. Wilton wasn't really getting any gains, I suppose. They're just hoping for a bit of carnage behind him, and maybe he'll come out with a result. But he's not going to finish on the podium, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But the thing is, as you said, you know, anything can happen. It is Jeddah. Fast circuits. I would have pit if I was him, but you know, he has his reasons. I guess he has his reasons. Cook now needs to catch up to the field as soon as possible, otherwise he might not be here for the restart. You can see Mizzy now getting a bit wobbly. He wants to get going again because he wants to get past Edgin. And I'll tell you what, definitely, if Mizzy can get past Edgin, it's going to be one hell of a move.
It will be one of a move. I think that's a very tactical decision from Cook actually to fit to box. He's made the safety car go out for at least another lap to allow Wilson to maybe decide what his next move is.
You're telling me the Mercedes is so what do you call it when he can't make a decision?
Yes.
I know there's a word for it. But yeah, Wilson doesn't know what he has to do, so his teammate decides to box later.
So I don't think the safety car is going to be in this lap. The field's only just closed up. I think it might be out for another lap here. Oh no, it is in this lap. We have crossed the sector line apparently, and we're going to get underway shortly. As the one to watch is Mizzy.
The one to watch is Mizzy, but of course if Edgin can get a dive on Wilton, T1, it could be good. But let's see what happens. I'll tell you what, Mizzy's going to give it his all. And he's going to be on Edgin if he can. When will Wilton go?
Wilton needs to go later as late. And Edgin needs to not get caught here by Mizzy. Wilton's still not gone yet. He's waiting his time. There's actually people changing behind him. And Wilton's gone now. He's caught out Edgin. And Mizzy was not caught out by it at all.
And Mizzy is on Edgin. And have a look at this. Will Mizzy pull to the inside, outside? He goes to the inside. He dives! He dives! Oh, and then he locks up. He locks up, and that's massive. And Edgin falling down the order. What happened there?
And there's people into the wall. It's all chaos at this restart here.
Haas into the wall. Thunder Fox into the wall, but he's still in the race. Edgen, I'm not quite sure. Did you see what happened into turn 1, Definitely?
We didn't get the full off-board view. Mizzy went for the dive. He locks up his tyres. I think he went straight on, and Edgen tried to keep it around the outside. And that moved him from basically into winning position into now down into P14. On the other hand, Wilton basically, it was a brilliant restart from Wilton. He basically caused that chaos because people didn't expect him to go as late as he did, and he's still reaping the benefits in P1, but I don't know how long those benefits will last.
Yeah, the benefits are just like any benefits in a workplace these days. They won't last long. But yeah, no, definitely. Edgen's going to be really, really ticked off by that. He was in a race winning position, and now he's down at P14. It's not going to be great news for him. But now let's look at Mizzy. I'll tell you what, Mizzy's not going to wait for this move. He wants that P1. He DNF'd in qualifying. He wanted pole, and now he's going to get P1 for himself. He's going to go around the outside of Wilton. Wilton keeps it straight. Oh, very close to contact, but Mizzy gets past quite easily. And that's, I think, Johnny getting past Artie Gamer in the background as well. But yeah, definitely that's shaking it up, hasn't it? That's shaking it up.
That's shaking it up indeed. We're actually just going to quickly have a look at the replay if we caught it. And yeah, you can just see Mizzy's gone off wide there into turn 1. And we didn't see exactly what happened with Edgen on the restart. I'm sure Mizzy's going to be in a lot of trouble because he's also got another report coming his way from the incident on, what was it, lap? MKL. So
I'm not quite sure what lap it was. It was our previous safety car.
It was our previous safety car. Jacob is moving up the field as well. He's now into P11. He's about one position away from the points. Thunderfox is a shame for him because he's now in the pits. He's going to have to go for a new front wing and a new set of tyres. But yeah, this race has been absolutely changed around. But for Wilton now, I suppose the best thing he can do is hold on and hope Mizzy gets a time penalty. But he's going to be under pressure from the people behind him very shortly.
Yeah, Wilton just kind of needs to wait. His tyres will be dying, but I mean, if he can somehow just wait, then it could be reaping the benefits. I want to have a look real quick. Chasing Wilton, of course, is valid. Chasing valid is Igor, and right behind Igor is MKL. Definitely, I told you, MKL is the master of recovery drives, and he's doing one today. Will Valid get past Wilton, though? That's the question. Both using ERS, Wilton using a bit more, but they're very equal levels. Anything differentiating them is tires. Artie Gamer gets past Johnny Boy again. And here goes Valid. Will he dump his ERS? Well, I'll tell you what, Wilson's dumping his ERS. It looks like that Mercedes has a higher top speed, and DRS is enabled. This is where it's going to get very interesting, I think.
As Valid is going to look for this dive into turn 1. He actually switches to the outside line. Can he go all the way around the outside of turn 1? He knows the tyre wear is low. And Wilton gets forced out there, and he's down into P3 as Igor will look to pick up the scraps of this battle. Wilson just falling down the order. Those 15-lap-old hards will be really struggling now.
I'll tell you what, definitely. You know how we were talking about Mizzy and saying, are the mediums the right strategy? I think it's the right strategy. I mean, the guy's 2.5 seconds ahead already. And just for interest sake, look at how Igor is being held up by Wilton. Igor being held up by Wilton incredibly, and Wilton diving. Igor can't really put his car anywhere, and this is going to be crucial because now this is closing up, and MKL now getting close to Igor. Igor will hate MKL getting closer because that means MKL has a bigger chance at getting him. We do know MKL looks like he has the better pace than Igor in this race today, but let's have a look. The Ferrari now looking for a move on Wilton. He has DRS, he has ERS. Wilson not going to defend it too hard, and he slots in right behind, and that kills MKL's momentum, and hopefully MKL is going to hope he can just get past the Mercedes. Oh, it's very tight, and it's a squeeze, but he does get past. The problem is, the Mercedes now gets DRS as well on the Ferrari, and MKL will have to wait another corner. Oh, never mind, MKL, what a dive! MKL diving down the inside of Wilton. No one saw that coming, or maybe you did, definitely. I don't know, but I did not see that coming. And MKL not using his battery. He has 60% more, but he's not using it. He's using it now. Is he going to go for the dive? He's probably going to go for the dive. Oh, and that also always makes me anxious. Oh, and contact between the two. Wilton is still keeping it, and Wilton's out. He's
lost it, and that is dropping him down the positions. But yeah, definitely a good battle between those two. As Thunderfox have retired on turn 22, that could be another safety car, and it is another safety car. And that has changed up the race once again. That will give Wilson a free pit stop. He will be able to put on a set of soft tyres. And I wonder who else we'll see put on the set of soft tyres here. But yeah, Wilton defending like his life depended on it. I don't think it was entirely necessary to do so. We'll quickly check out this replay. As you can see MKL looking to go up the inside here. You can see Wilton was getting slipstream from Igor. MKL dives down the inside. They do bang wheels, but nothing too much in it. Wilson gets a 3-second time penalty, and just his rear goes on that third gear due to his old tyre wear. But let's keep an eye on who decides it's time for a set of soft tyres. It will be very interesting to see if anyone thinks maybe softs to the end of the race, lap 18 of 25.
Well,
Who's got
I
nothing
don't
to
think
lose?
anyone will. I think, well, okay, Wilton might, because, he might say, listen, down a P7, I might as well drop it. But the problem is, definitely, there wasn't enough time between safety cars for the grid to spread out. So they're all still very close to each other. Which means that if you pit now, you're ending up at the back of the field. So people like MKL definitely not boxing. And Mizzy, this is played perfectly into Mizzy's hands, hasn't it? Definitely. The second safety car is what he wanted. Now we can really save the medium and finish very strong at the end. MKL as well. MKL will be fighting with Igor, and I'll tell you what, Valid has done very well to keep up until here. But I don't think he's going to be there for much longer with Igor and MKL behind him.
Well, Wilton, for some reason unknown to science, has decided that his best position is to stay out here. And
does he know he has to pit? Does he know he's
does he
tired?
know? Does this man know that he has to pit? Well, he technically put it on lap 1, but with that 3-second time penalty now and 17 lap old hards, I don't see him picking up a point. You've got nothing to lose. You're gonna drop down anyway. Put on a set of softs. Maybe go for fastest lap. See what you can do. Pockets has decided that softs are the best option till the end of the race. I think Bez's AI just put him onto his old set of medium tyres.
Oh, it has.
So
the poor thing.
Thanks very much, AI, for ruining Bez's race. But Edgen in P10, he decided that softs were not for him. We have 5 laps to go, probably from the safety car restart. Who's in the best position here to try and win this race? Still Mizzy, but Mizzy's tyres will probably go.
Yeah, no, Mizzy. No, it's Mizzy. Honestly, definitely, I would love to play around with. Oh, Mizzy can get tire wear. He's gotten 2 safety cars. Yes, the mediums are 6 lap old, but in reality, they're probably 3 laps old, which means not only will he have enough tire, but he'll still be quick enough. So that's what I'm saying. Unless Valid can somehow out the challenge, I'm still pegging Mizzy for the win here, and then I'm thinking MKL, Igor, and then Valid.
That's probably a decent prediction, but most things tend to happen in motorsport, and it usually all ends in chaos. And we're gonna have another lap behind the safety car here. It's gonna be we're gonna be restarting on lap 21, I believe. So we're only gonna get 4 laps of racing. So maybe Pockets' soft tyre will work properly. But yeah, this is quite the insane end to this Grand Prix.
It is definitely, and definitely, of course, because there are less laps, that's gonna fit Mizzy even more, because now he has to do less on those mediums. But yeah, I have a feeling definitely after this race we are going to get a handful of complaints and FIAs. How can you say this? FIA documents coming out.
There's going to be some FIA documents after this Grand Prix, I can tell you that for sure.
It's going to be something else.
Which is a shame. You don't want to obviously seeing too many FIA interventions, but when they're necessary, they're of course necessary. But it's down to what the FIA decide. Bez is in the pits once again. I think his AI is putting him onto an old set of hard tyres now. The AI does confuse me around here. I won't lie.
This game's AI just confuses me. Point. It isn't even about around here. It's just the game's AI confuses me.
Yeah, it's just super confusing. But anyway, we're going to be restarting on lap 21. If we don't, then I'll be very surprised. But I don't see us not restarting on this lap. Wilton now on 18 lap old hard tyres. His tyres will be 24 laps old by the time we reach to the end of this race. And I don't know, that they're going to pop, aren't they? Surely.
Honestly, I don't think they will. Not going to be easy, but I don't necessarily think they will pop. I think they're barely survive, but they'll probably survive. I don't know, definitely. I'm just as confused as you are, honestly. I've never seen tires go that long, so you shouldn't ask me these questions.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out, and I'm sure we'll find out. I'm sure Wilton will find out shortly if everything goes bang bang pop. But Valid,
Bang bang pop.
bang bang pop, and Valid has a chance now for a race victory. We thought it might be Edgen having that issue. We thought it might be Callus having an issue. Kimmerai not really showing up today. And it looks like we might have a Red Bull, an Alfa Romeo, or another Ferrari on the victory. I suppose MKL is still in it as
Or
well.
Aston.
Or an
Or
Aston.
Aston Martin.
Or can someone pull off a major surprise? So we're going to watch on board with MKL at the restart. Now, might be Valid's one and only chance to take the lead of the race. And I think Mizzy is going to wait his time. Igor was leading this race for many, many laps. The safety car screwed us over, and there he goes.
We just go.
And MKL has got a brilliant restart here. We're on board with him right now. He's going to go up the inside. He's going to go take P3 away from Igor. Igor couldn't do anything about it. And Igor down into fourth. MKL straight up into the podium finishes. Oh, was there? Igor almost loses it on the exit of the corner. RD Gamer is not going to need a second invitation as he dives up the inside. RD Gamer into fourth for Williams as he parks it on the apex.
There was almost an accident between those two.
That was close.
That was almost an accident. They got very, very close. But I mean, look at that. I told you, Deflink, MKL is just a recovery driver. The guy just recovers. You can't. You don't ask questions. You don't ask him how. He just does it. Okay. He just does it. But yeah, Igor having a horrid restart. Jacob now is that falling down? I believe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jacob, I believe,
I think it's Wilson falling down. Actually, I think Wilson's really struggling.
Okay.
I think Wilson's got front wing damage as well. Yeah, he does. Got left-hand side front wing damage on that restart. If his car wasn't already struggling, it is now. I imagine that's a pit for a set of softs and go fastest lap job.
Yeah, I assume so.
But right now, it is still Mizzy who leads by 0.8 of a second, followed by MKL, another 0.8 back. RD Gamer, with a surprise today, is sitting in P4.
Definitely, you just completely missed Valid. You said Mizzy and then MKL.
Did I? Valid? I thought I said Valid, didn't I?
Yeah. No, you didn't.
Oh, never mind.
I didn't hear it. Maybe I'm deaf. But I did not hear it.
No, I'm deaf.
I'm deaf.
Anyway, Johnny Donny is looking to take P5 off Igor. Igor having a really horrible restart, as Panda was saying. He is dropped down from P3 to P5. Could he be under pressure as well from Johnny? That could take him down into P6. And both Ferraris, well, one is scoring points. Well, both are scoring points at the moment. One in P10 and one in P5. No podium finishes as it stands. RD Gamer definitely the surprise of the day up in P4.
Yeah. RD Gamer definitely the surprise of the day. What also surprising me is Valid is keeping a lot of pace with Mizzy here. Losing time, but he is still keeping pace, and that's wonderful. We could actually see Valid here on the podium, and that would honestly be great. I think it would be a very fun interview. But yeah, definitely this race has just been, I mean, it's been amazing, hasn't it? We've seen so many ups and downs. It's one of those races where you genuinely just don't know where to look. Talking about that, Kimmerai now on Johnny's back, wanting to rescue his race somehow. DRC Jacob right behind Edgen. Jacob saying, hey, Edgen, I'm here and I want to come in. But Edgen not opening the door just yet. Penguin then on Kimmerai. Basically just a massive DRS train, isn't it? Definitely.
Quite the Johnny Doddy roadblock at the moment. Kimmerai stuck behind him, and everyone is stuck behind Kimmerai. Edgen did make his move on Jacob. He's now up into P9 as he looks to recover from his position. It's going to be quite the battle going on right now. It could be 3 wide in front of us here. Penguin on the outside, could be 4 wide going into the final corner. You don't do that. Edgen dives down the inside. Has he made that move stick? Oh, he's put him into the wall, but he's made it stick. And he's almost made 4 cars into one. And that is quite the chaotic dive bomb.
And Jacob was almost brake checked, but I believe Penguin, and now he's lost a piece of his front wing, and that's to motor him down into P11. I mean, what a dive from Edgen, but he's being challenged here by Johnny. And yeah, Edgen, beautiful dive from him. Very, very brave. You can see he's definitely getting fed up, and he wants to get back up. But yeah, a beautiful dive from him into there.
We'll just quickly check the replay of that move. You can see in front of Edgen here. Look at all the chaos in front. And he decides to go up the inside. There wasn't room there at all. There was definitely contact between everyone. As on the live picture, Edgen has just made his move up into P6. There was definitely contact between a lot of people. But there is Edgen up into P6 now. And that will probably be a good result if he can stay there. As I think there was a bit of an incident behind between a few people. But no one retired. Everyone's sticking as they were, as edging up into P6, Igor still chasing down RD Gamer for P4. And Valid has just dropped a big gap to Mizzy, about 2 seconds. Has another yellow flag in the second sector. I think it's from one of the Alpines, but they kept going.
They have indeed. As said, Igor still chasing for that elusive P4. Ironically enough, MKL not being able to just, he's barely not getting into the DRS. I think he will here, however, and hopefully that'll tow MKL along. But Igor going for the move on RD Gamer, not making it work, but he should make it work here on the straight.
And Igor really looking for that opportunity to get into P4. He's got about 3 seconds to go, and that'll be an easy pass there for Igor. RD Gamer not really battling that one back. He's probably out of position anyway, so he's just going to be happy with whatever position he finishes in. He'll maybe try and keep up with Igor just to have a bit of slipstream effect. There's a big sector 1 crash. Who's that? It's Cook spun round, and Mercedes, who went to having from a day that was going to score them points to a day that won't score them anything. It's a bad result indeed. Pockets' soft tie gamble has paid off to a degree. As I said, Edgin might be happy with P6, but it turns out, no, he wants P5, as he pushes RD Gamer now for P5 as Igor is up into P4. Maybe we'll see a Ferrari battle as well. As we're on the penultimate lap here, this race has flown by.
It has indeed flown by. I'm watching MKL. He's finally gotten in the elusive DRS of Valid, and that's going to help him hopefully get the overtake. Of course, he only has lap 25 to get that overtake, and I think we might actually see it into turn 1 here. But let's have a look at Defrick. As I said, Edgin now chasing down RD Gamer as well. I'm not going for the move yet. RD Gamer, of course, will have DRS, so could he catch up to Igor? Who knows?
He's got DRS, which is keeping him in front of Edgin. But it won't keep him in front for long as Edgin looks to go around the outside. RD Gamer also getting slipstream effect on Igor. Could we see 3 into 1? And it's been
and Igor backed out.
Oh, Igor backed out of it. Edgin went round the outside and he moved himself up into P4. MKL, on the other hand, is looking to take P3 as Edgin sets the first lap of the race. As Igor comes again, can we see a move? There's a dive right into turn 1. He's broke that so late, but he's made it stick. What a move from Igor.
How has he done that?
How has he broken it so late?
The Ferrari drivers obviously no team orders. Because, I mean, what a dive. Did you see that?
We saw it on stream. We'll check the replay in a minute. But my goodness me, how did he slow that car down in time? And MKL still pressing for the final podium position. Quickly check this replay here. You can see going down into turn 1. You can see that we were watching MKL. We can see in the background how people were closing up. And Igor just has such a slipstream effect. He brakes so late into turn 1. It's a huge dive bomb. And he makes it up into P4 ahead as we look back to the live picture here. As MKL's still closing down RD Gamer. This could be a last lap overtake. And it might be.
And I think it might be as well. Is he going to go for it here? Oh, it's going to be brave. No, it won't. Oh, but that has compromised run out. I don't think he's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. That's it.
And that is a half move that you should never attempt, no matter how much speed you have going on. He might get another chance. The slipstream effect is powerful around here. If he can get a good run out of the final corner, he has a chance of making this move stick. He's broke so late into the final corner. Mizzy will come home to win the Grand Prix, and Red Bull get their first victory. MKL won't pick up second place. On the Ferraris, it's Ferrari P4 and P5. RD Gamer in P6. Johnny will finish in P7. Pockets will finish in P8 after a gamble. Both Williams scoring good points there. Kimurai will finish P9 with Jacob in P10. I don't think he'll actually finish P10. I think actually Cook might get that P10 position off him, and he will, as Jacob goes down to 11th. Cook finishes in the top 10. Penguin in 12th, followed by Bez, and then followed by Wilton in P14, the last of the finishers. If we can get the top 3 into the cooldown room, that'd be awesome. I'm
going to try to get that for us.
Sure you're on that already. But yeah, insane, incredible race. But it rounds out with Mizzy taking his first victory this season and Red Bull's first victory. The title challenge maybe not between 2 drivers, it may be between multiple, because that was insane. And who is your driver of the day? The game's giving it to Pockets, but who's your driver of the day?
Honestly, probably MKL. I have a soft place for MKL, and he's had an amazing race. He's had an absolutely amazing race, amazing recovery, so well done to him, I think, personally. And yourself, Mr. Deflink?
Well, I was thinking I'm going to give it to two. There's two people I would like to give it to. I'm going to give it to one person, but RD Gamers run a brilliant race. 13th to 6th is fantastic. Johnny, 16th to 7th is awesome, and Pockets 18th to 8th. And you know what? I rag on Pockets a lot, but finishing P8 from 18th and putting onto a set of softs, obviously there is outside circumstances to him finishing there, but very good indeed. That's my drive of the day, goes to Pocket. So Mizzy wins the race from Valid, from MKL, then Igor, Edgin, RD Gamer, Johnny Donny, Pockets, Kimurai, Cook, your top 10, then Jacob, Penguin, Bez, Wilton is your finishers, and then Thunderfox, Callus, Morris B, Striker Boy, and Fudge McMuffin all DNF'd. So we'll be getting into your driver interviews in just a couple of moments here. I'm sure they're all in the cooldown room already. Well, Valid in the
They aren't,
cooldown room
unfortunately.
indeed.
Only Valid is there. We can have a chat with Valid as long while we wait for MKL and Mizzy. But yeah, definitely what a race.
What a race
As I said,
indeed.
Jeddah always gives action, and today wasn't any different, was it?
Nope, it wasn't at all. That is exactly the kind of battles we always expect around this circuit. And we got them indeed. We just need to wait for our. Oh my god, my computer is having a bit of a fit right now.
I think mine as well. Mine is as well.
Oh god, that was having quite the fit. I tried to Task Manager F1 and it did not like that
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I did the exact same thing, and it did not like it
It
whatsoever.
did not like it at all.
If I
So the
didn't,
top three are in the driver cooldown room. So we're going to bring in our third place finisher now. Where is the comms box? Is this one? It is this one.
it is
MKL
indeed.
P3 at Saudi Arabia. You had the pace all afternoon. You put it on pole position as well. The safety car coming out, the second one really screwed you over. But what was that? You know, that was a brilliant race. Tell us about it from your perspective.
I mean, yeah, Paul was like from nowhere, to be honest. Like I just did a did a good lap and that's all. Didn't expect it that much, but yeah, still good performance. And then yeah, the first safety car. After the first corner, I got hit under the safety car, so I just spun and yeah, lost a couple of positions. I was like down to P10, P11, I believe. I'm not sure right now. And then yeah, just climbing. Uh, the pace was there. Yeah, that's for sure. The pace was there.
And MKL,
Uh,
first of all,
yeah.
well done. You somehow always say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that good in that race," and then you perform. I'm of course biased. You know I love your driving, but of course it was Mizzy that actually hit you, or P1 finisher. He actually hit you on the safety car, which caused you to spin. Are you planning to report that, or are you happy with today's result?
I mean, I mean, yes, because that obviously cost me maybe even a win today. So yeah, I'm like mentally like ready to be in P2 today.
Okay. Well, yeah, but as definitely said, what a drive. Honestly, I am extremely, extremely, extremely impressed
You were Panda's driver
by
of the
what
day.
you've done. Yeah, but he's always my driver of the day. It's not anything
Thank
new.
you.
But yeah, no, honestly, MKL from my side, what a race. I can't ask you much because I think you deserve the win. But so did the other two. Everyone just had brilliant pace. So well done.
Yeah. Also congrats to Valid. That was a fair fight in the end.
Yeah, it was.
Uh,
Was
yeah.
did you that last lap? Obviously, you were really closing into him in turn 22. Were you planning to go for the move there, or did you think I just got such a
I mean, I,
momentum
I,
that
w- I was planning to go for the move like before the like last trade with DRS.
yeah?
But I don't know what exactly happened. But when we were like side by side, he like hit me a bit, so I needed to backed off
Hmm.
of that move. So yeah,
Okay.
and then I just lost like a second or so. So yeah, I just finished P3. That's
But
all.
it proves that you have good pace as you always have. Our next round will be at Monza. Are you a fan of that circuit? You looking forward to it?
Um, we will see. I don't know. Didn't drive it for a while, so yeah, we will
Well,
see.
thank you, MKL, for joining us. Hopefully we'll speak to you in Monza as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.
And we're going to bring in our second place finisher, which is Valid. Valid picks up his first podium this season for Alfa Romeo, and a fantastic drive from Valid. So, Valid, talk us through that race from your perspective, because that was a bit of a crazy race. What was it like from your
It
perspective?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that one was just purely survival, and after that, I was trying to get into a rhythm. At some point, I just got 3 positions at one corner, I think, because they were fighting and it was all carnage. At the end, lucky. The other safety car restart, it was kind of close because Missy locked up. So yeah, that's the reason I hit Edgin, because I was already in the corner and he just went left. But rest, we had good pace. Not the best, but we tried to keep up with the rest, and it worked out for us.
And Valid, of course, beautiful drive. P2 is a really good score. I do want to get your opinion. A possible P1 coming, dependent on how MKL's report goes on Mizzy. Do you think you deserve the win today? Are you happy with P2? Do you think P2 was a lucky result? Do you think you could have gone for a win today? What's your feeling on the whole situation?
I think where I stand with my pace, it's a really great result, even though Saudi Arabia is not my best track. So if I get the win, it's always best. But to get the first win, of course, you want to just cross the line in first as your first win. But if I get the win, it's always a pleasure. So we'll see.
We will indeed see.
Well,
Definitely, any questions?
no questions from me at all. I don't think. But yeah, thank you, Valid, for joining us. That was awesome. Congrats
Yes,
on your drive.
thank you.
And we'll hopefully maybe speak to you in Monza.
We hope.
Right, thank you, Valid. And now we're going to bring in our P1 finisher. He drove a fantastic race. Wasn't barred with incidents, though. I'm sure there's a few reports coming his way, but he might know that. Mizzy, P1 on the day. How did that feel? You started on the hards, you went the alternate strategy, but it worked out for you. What was that race from your perspective?
Yeah, good race, but obviously not the way I wanted to win it. Very stupid incident under the safety car, of course. That was not ideal, but yeah, still happy to cross the line first. But yeah, I think it will be way more interesting for the people watching if Ejin and MKL were there, if the incidents that happened didn't happen. So yeah, sorry about that, but yeah, for now I'm happy with the pace that I showed today, and yeah, I'm looking forward for the next race.
Yeah, in
Yeah, I mean,
terms.
Mizzy.
Sorry, Panda, carry on.
Sorry, definitely. Mizzy, I mean, you say that, and of course, as you said, the incidents are unfortunate. You don't want to see incidents happening. But I mean, you can't really say you didn't deserve it, because I mean, you could have probably put it on pole in qualifying, had you not DNF'd. So although I still, I how can I say it? The incidents were unfortunate, but I do want to ask you, you know, you must think that you deserve this win. I mean, you had great pace throughout the race. Your strategy was on point. Surely you can give yourself a pat on the back and say, hey, listen, there might have been accidents, but I mean, this was still a deserved win.
Yeah, so I think the strategy was a really good call. I had a talk with the guys in my team, and yeah, the hards to mediums was the right strategy in the end. But I also think that if the last safety car didn't come out, I would be able to pull a more significant gap in the end, because the pace was there earlier on the medium stint. So yeah, that last safety car was quite unfortunate, but yeah, just missed my breaking point in the incident with Edgin. Just slided across the track. So yeah, couldn't control my car, but yeah, for now I'm happy that I crossed the line first, and yeah, that's all that matters now. And then if I'm not gonna win the race in the end, I'm not gonna be yeah, too mad about it, because I know I did some questionable moves. So yeah, for now happy, but yeah.
Well, those incidents sometimes do happen, but I think in terms of race pace, you really showed up today, and you've shown that obviously Red Bull aren't here to mess around. You've got a really good lineup on that team. Obviously, you got Vlad as well. He's Vlad, but it's a very good lineup on your team, and we'll see what your pace is in like Monza. Are you expecting Monza to be another good track for you?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Monza, very nice circuit as well. I haven't driven around there for quite a while, but yeah, I'll also practice for that race and see where my pace is.
Well, Mizzy, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Your P1 finisher for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and hopefully we'll speak to you in Monza as well, mate.
Thank you. See
Thank
you guys.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Mizzy. And Panda, that ends another Tier 1 race. It's been a pleasure once again, Panda, to commentate. If you're here next
Yeah,
week,
as
if you're
always.
in Tier 2 next week, I'm sure we'll find out probably on Sunday next week.
Yeah, Sunday evening, 5 o'clock.
Sunday evening, 5
Someone will
p.m.
send a message saying, "Oh, hey, by the way, you're commentating here."
But I'm
No,
pretty
but definitely thank
sure
you.
next week we're swapping back around, but I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Panda. It's been brilliant. We'll see you guys next weekend for Tier 1 at Monza. You can check us out on Twitch. You can check out the podcast, which will be coming out about this race on Tuesday. That's
Okay, let's say Wednesday, just for
Wednesday.
in case.
Um,
Because Ollie and I now have to record that.
yeah.
So just give us time, okay?
And that you can check us out on Spotify, you can check us out on Twitch, you can check us out on YouTube, you can check us out on Instagram. All of this is in the Twitch
Twitter,
bio. Do we have a Twitter?
Discord. Yeah, we have
Discord.
Twitter. We
Yeah,
have Discord.
Discord's on screen right now. Discord.gg/digital racing. There's also other links, but I'm not going to read them out because I usually get them wrong. But anyway, thank you, Panda. Thank you all for watching, and we will
Pleasure.
see you next weekend. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.